Welcome to Techidia Institute. I'm DeepSeek. Over the last few days, we received questions from our co-learners, especially from Techidia AI in Business Masterclass, on what is going on as a result of the new basis of competition which DeepSeek, a company from China, has brought into the AI world. As a result of that, I said, let me just make this video. Hopefully, it can actually help our learners and possibly others to get a little bit of insight on what is going on. So I say, most of these things, we don't have to really worry about them because most companies in the world will not necessarily have to get to that level. If you look around, you see that the DeepSeek brought a major reset. As a result of that research, companies like NVIDIA and others in the AI space, especially at the hardware element, most of them have seen their market capitalization severely diminished. Because the hypothesis is this, that if we don't really need a lot of computational power, computational systems to actually power the AI era, the infrastructure companies which are going or providing the necessary hardware system that we need, that they will not largely make money in the future. So from companies that are helping to build data centers to those that are helping to provide microprocessors, those that are also working in providing energy for those systems, most of them have seen their market caps severely diminished. So the question then is from the American and Western European perspective, is that we need all these resources so that we can actually build an AI future. And that is the reason why America is hoping to invest $500 billion in tasers, in what they call the 500 billion Stargaze project, just to make sure that those foundational rudimental infrastructures are available in order to build a dominant AI ecosystem that will lead the world. For decades, Intel had the same mindset. Let's build faster microprocessors. Let's reduce the feature sizes of transistors so that they can fire. And they pursued speed as a core metric to drive competitiveness in the market. Intel became a category king and pursued an unalloyed religiosity on Moore's law. And they kept it going. But as Intel was doing that, other species of companies evolved and emerged. They were not necessarily looking at speed. They were also looking at other metrics, the efficiency, power dissipation. And by combining all those metrics, at the end of the day, they deliver something that the market actually preferred. Think about it. Will you prefer a smartphone that is exceedingly very fast, that the battery can just run down quickly? Or will you prefer a smartphone that is fast, you get things done, but the battery can actually last longer for you? So balancing speed with other metrics became very great in differentiating all these processors. So the DeepSeek has broad interests, and I'm connecting back to what happened with Intel, NVIDIA, and other companies, because the research that DeepSeek has brought is largely saying, hey, you may not really need to run that fast to get value from all these AI systems. You don't need to have the latest microprocessors from NVIDIA. If you can optimize in other ways. So by improving efficiency, making sure you change certain things, you can save money and also get things done. And I'll give you an analogy, because what is going on is this. Everyone will have a place to do business. Not all of us must necessarily be focused on what is happening on what I call the upstream. Look at the cloud computing analogy here. You see that we have Amazon AWS, we have Google Cloud, we have Microsoft Azure. These are the foundational cloud computational systems that make it possible for you to host whatever you want to host. With your credit card, your debit card, you can open an account in AWS and hey, you upload, your website is up and you're doing business. But they are not the only ones. that are capturing value in the market. Companies that are natively built in on them, they are also doing well. So we've got Robinhood, we got Flutterwave, and we have Wikipedia. I mean, we are hosted in the cloud. So my point is, when you look at the AI era, we are going to have companies like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, doing what they have to do. But we, as the small people in our small companies, we also have to do what we have to do. So those opportunities are there. But what is going on today is everyone is fixated on these AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure level. This is where, analogically, we have to pay attention. And of course, you can also use the PC system framework. You got the firmware. When you are starting your computer, there are a lot of things you see as the basic input-output system, the BIOS, the firmware, the thing that makes it possible that when the microprocessors are turning on, you can handshake that system to the operating system like Windows and Linux. And from that operating system, you now move into what we call applications. There are a lot of these applications, from your email, from your ability to use TikTok, anything that you do are applications on top of your laptop. Your laptop may be running on Windows, or your cell phone may be running on Android or iOS. On top of that cell phone, there are a lot of things you're using. You're using Dropbox, using it to draw something, you're doing this. Those are applications. There are also opportunities in those applications. So you are not making Windows, you're not making Linux, you're not making Android. That does not mean that there are not opportunities at application level. I want us to understand that the bulk of the value in the AI era will be at the application phase. So in the AI model, we have really about three things to look at there. I'm going to make it very simple. The first level is what they call foundation model. This is a broad set of models where they are now doing whatever have they do to bring intelligence in machines and systems. Intelligence that now make them think, reason. And they build those models to cover broad set of industries, broad sets of domains, broad sets of human endeavors, and reason in the area that may be useful for banking, reason in the area that may be useful for customer services, reason in the area that may be useful for political strategy, reason in the area that may be possible for business, or whatever you can think of. They become the foundation model. And out of those foundation models, you have what we call large language model. The large language model is a little bit more specific. You are now looking at a narrow niche of domain. I can have a large language model for insurance business. I can have a large language model to help me in customer service in the healthcare sector. I have a large language model for scientific stuff in marine ecology. These things are subsets of the foundation model. But within and out of that large language model, you can now get the generative AI. That generative AI covers practically every aspect of human endeavor. You can use it to improve how you serve your customers, billing, claims. You can use it to how you design, develop drugs out of the LLM. You can use it to improve how a student is taught a personalized learning. These are opportunities. So the foundation model and LLM, you're going to see companies like OpenAI, Google Gemini, DeepSeek, and all of them playing deep there. That's what they do. At the end of it, you may have about 5, maybe 8 top leading global foundation model companies. They're not going to have a lot of them, just like we have the cloud computing companies. Then the LLMs, you're going to have them in thousands, where you have a big company, a big bank, they want to build an LLM model for banking, KYC, or fraud detection. They can build those things. Of course, companies like OpenAI can also, they do the foundation model, They do the LM. And of course, they also do the generative AI model where you have the ChatGPT. ChatGPT now is a descendant of their foundation model out of the LLM that they have built relatively for that chat element. But this is where the opportunities are for most of us. We, the people, most companies will be here. And that's really where you have to pay attention. They are going to fight here and battle, go bankrupt. Some of them will disappear, just like when we started this age of information age. There were many cloud computing companies. When Amazon started, this other company joined. But after a few decades, only Microsoft and Google, maybe Alibaba Cloud and a few others have survived. Others have gone bankrupt or they're irrelevant. The same thing will happen. Remember, there was a time there were a lot of places where you could use for emails, but now it's mainly free, Google and Yahoo. If you're in the Western world, there are not many others. That's what will happen. So I want you to focus on what can you do here, and don't be too fixated looking at the performance of this. Yeah, I understand you need to pay attention, but most times the business most of us do, that business has nothing to bother about. Of course, we need to look at the cost efficiency because you want to build on a model that is cheaper and free, largely, so that you don't have to burn a lot of your cash. That's what the DeepSeek has provided because it's largely free. It's open source. At the end of the day, it comes down to the money. But at the end, hey, this is not necessarily where we need to just spend the whole week thinking, talking. I want people to talk about what are going to be the application niches for their industry using generative AI. That's where you have to pay attention. And as you do that, remember this accumulation of capability constructs. There are going to be upstream companies, just like we have in oil industry, upstream companies like ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, Shell. There are going to be few of them. They acquire extra value. But also there is value at the downstream companies where you're doing the distribution and marketing, especially also in the oil industry. I'm using an analogy that we use in the oil sector because Nigerians and Africans, we are all oil experts. So the downstream companies are going to be the OpenAI. Upstream are going to be OpenAI and DeepSeek. Why the downstream companies? That's where most of us will play. But the point I'm making here is that there is still massive value here. You need to be thinking, what can these AI systems do for your sector and your business? And start constitutionalizing a roadmap instead of spending the whole day thinking about, hey, these upstream players. Because at the end of the day, people lose money there. Many people lose money. Of course, I've said also, the more you move upstream, of course, the more value you capture. But that does not mean there is no value. But besides value, the most important thing is positioning in the market. And that positioning in the market, you are looking at where are you situated at the smiling curve. Before the banks began to get sense, most of them were powering the infrastructure in the financial sector, making it possible to pay and receive payment. Why companies at the edges, driving discovery and aggregation, like PayPal, Florawave, and CoolWork, making a lot of money. Those are the origination and creation. Visa, MasterCard, VAR, we're making. But why the banks are the middle at the center, not making money? Of course, over time, the banks have shifted, participated no more just at the delivery and centralization. They have moved at the discovery and also moved at the origination. In this AI age, whatever you do, you have to ask yourself, in this smiling curve, am I positioning myself to drive efficiency on the utilization of factors of production in that specific thing I do? Because it is not just how you make money that matters. It's actually where you are positioned and how you make that money. It's not the absolute value of that money. It's actually how that money is made. And that is what we're talking about here. I want you to still leave DeepSeek alone and ask yourself, at my level, what can AI do? Even out here, Tekidia, go launch a product, we think, because people expect it and you have to deliver it. You remain relevant today, relevant tomorrow, and next. Thank you so much for listening. Tekidia Institute, Tekidia AI Business Masterclass.